Welcome to Worship Leader Wednesday. Today we're talking about auditions, how we do auditions in our church, and what do you do when somebody isn't good enough to make the cut. Hey, I wanted to interrupt really quick to let you know that Fuller and I decided to break this video up into two parts. So in this video, part one, we're talking about how to audition team members for your worship team. Next week on Worship Leader Wednesday, we're going to be talking about what to do next. So what to do if somebody passes that audition, how to assimilate them into your team, and what to do if somebody didn't pass that audition and it's time to say no. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that video next week. So Fuller and I were talking about how do we start this video, and I suggested, why don't we start with the question, should you do auditions? And we really tried to come up with a reason not to do auditions. And I said, Fuller, what would be a reason why somebody would not do an audition? And your response was,
I can't think of one.
So number one, should you be doing auditions? Yes. But I would suspect many churches do not do auditions. Or they don't have a formal structure in place.
That's probably more likely.
Auditions.
Yeah.
So the next part of this video then is going to be what we do for our auditions. And we've come up with three different sort of audition styles.
The first one, which is kind of like maybe the thing people think about when they think of auditions, is what we call the American Idol style audition, which is where you pick one night and you tell everyone at your church and your community, hey, we're going to have these auditions, and you have maybe one night where 10 or 15 people come, if you have that many, and they audition one right after another. Mm-hmm. And they prepare a piece of music. They get maybe 3 to 5 minutes each person, depending on how many you have. And then you have sort of a panel of judges, if you will, or people who are evaluating the talent, maybe your worship leader and another one of the musicians or another pastor at the church or whatever. And you basically have 3 or 4 or 5 people just kind of audition one right after another, and you let them play the song or do the song or whatever. It's usually solo. If it's a vocal, just a vocalist singing a cappella or with a piano accompaniment. If it's a musician, either playing a song or to a click track or something. Yeah. Songs that you would do at your church. And then after that, you basically say, hey, thanks for coming out. We'll be in touch with you. So that's kind of like the almost Broadway style of auditioning, like a casting call, right? A lot of people don't like that model, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The second way to audition is video style auditioning, basically video submissions.
That's what we do.
Yeah, and what this is, you find somebody who wants to audition for the team, and what you do is, it's real simple. You send them a link that has all the resources they need. It has the song that they need to play, it has the chord chart, maybe the lyrics if they're a vocalist, and you send them all this information. They download it, they record a video on their phone of them playing or singing in their living room or whatever, and then they email you that video, or they email you a link to that video. You watch it, maybe someone else watches it, and you kind of review it, you analyze it, and then you respond back to them with the quote-unquote results.
Yeah, and the easiest way to do that is, when we say a link, we have like a web page set up.
Yeah,
so it's a link on a website.
And you can set a website up easily.
Yeah, and it'll say, for a vocalist, sing this song. For a guitar player, play these parts in these songs. Give them specific things to do. Because that's what we ask, and what I assume most churches are asking their volunteers to do. Sing a certain song, play a certain part. And then the easiest way to do that, though, if somebody creates a video, what we ask them to do is to upload it to YouTube, but set the video to unlisted. That's important. So on YouTube, you can have 3 different settings. Public, everyone can see it. It's visible in search results. Unlisted, meaning nobody can get to it unless they have the specific YouTube link. And then private is only the uploader has access to it, and other Gmail accounts that they give access to. So private's not the way to do it, because then you, the person getting the video, can't watch it. Unlisted is the way to do it.
Yeah, and the other option would be they could just film a video and email it to you.
Send you the video.
The file, or text it or whatever. The third audition process is the old school process, and this is the kind of meet in person one-on-one.
Yep.
A lot of people like this one because it's more personal, and basically what this is when you find you're talking to someone after church. I play drums. Oh, you do? Mm-hmm. And then suddenly they're going to audition, and you say, well, hey, can you meet me? What's your schedule like? Can you meet me up at the church? You tell me when. And they're, hey, I can meet you Tuesday at 3. So they come to the church Tuesday at 3. You meet with them, and you get to know them, talk to them, and then you have them play some music, either formally or informal. Sometimes it's just as simple as, hey, play me something. Other times it might be like, hey, here's a song. Can you prepare the song and play it when you get here?
Okay, so let's talk about some pros and cons of each sort of audition style. How about the American Idol? Well, first of all, you got to get somebody who's real nice, somebody who says dog a lot, and like someone who's really mean.
Yo, dog, that was really good.
And then somebody who's like, that was terrible.
I'm usually the mean guy.
Okay, so what are the tips of the American Idol style?
Yeah, so the pros to this is that you get to see them in the environment.
Yeah.
Like when we do the American Idol style, we'll turn the lights on. We'll have, like, if they're a musician, they're going to play with the full band or whatever. And you're going to see them on stage in the moment on your stage with the lights. With
So
all.
you have the worship team there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or a few of them, maybe a drummer, a bass player, or whatnot. Yeah. If a bass player is audition, I try to make sure one of our drummers there to play with them. Important. But the pro to this is you get to see them really what you're getting.
Okay.
You get to see, because this is nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
This is like one of those auditions where it's like you start getting nervous. And so it's pretty intimidating. But you do get to kind of see how people are going to respond. Because a lot of times you might do that small personal audition, but then when they get on stage, it's like they're blown away because they're maybe not ready. So that's one of the pros to the American Idol. The con is that it's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work to organize. And then if you have like 7 or 8 people that do it, you're going to have 1 or 2 people that don't show up. And so it just, for us, we stopped doing this because it was just a total waste of time.
Yeah.
We would do 4 or 5 of these a year and end up with 1 or 2 people making the team. And we could have expedited that process way quicker if we would have done a different process. Now, it is great, though, if you kind of have a momentum where your church is like doubled in size and you got all these people and you don't know what to do with them. That's a good time to do that because you can kind of create some energy and, people hanging out and, waiting for their turn and stuff. And so you kind of create a little community. But I wouldn't do this more than maybe once a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the video submission, obviously the pro is that it sort of happens automatically.
Easy.
It's not and it's easy for you as the church to do it. It also it's hard. It puts the pressure on the person who's auditioning, which is actually a good thing, in my opinion, because if somebody takes that initiative, you know that they're really invested in what they're about to do.
Telltale sign. We have people. I'd probably say in the last year, 25 people maybe coming through the audition process. Right. Half of them don't even ever send the video.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like they would have never really made it on the team anyways. But then some people, they'll send you the next day.
Yeah.
And these people are go-getters.
They're ready to go.
So there's an advantage to that, right?
Yeah. Plus it actually relieves pressure on the person. It's not as nerve-wracking of an experience.
Yeah.
You have, if you're going to audition, you're doing a video audition, you can make as many as you want.
That's right. That one's bad. Let me try it again.
You can do it 10 times and take the best one. So,
which is also a con for us.
Yeah.
Because
you can also, if you know what you're doing, you can auto-tune.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
You don't know what they get. Usually when we do the video audition, if they make it, there's a next step, which is come and do it on stage with me so I can see that. And then we'll place you. Yeah. And figure out your placement. One more con to the video submission is that there's not much community happening.
Right.
So it's they get a link, they send a video, and they get an email back. There's not a lot of personal connection. Yeah. So you got to be careful to make sure that there's community happening outside of that process as well.
Yeah, which is a plus for the old school sort of meet in person audition. So you can build community that way. Yeah,
no question that the meet in person audition process, the biggest pro to that is you get to know the person, you're not rushed. Yeah. It's one person, you get to spend time with them, you get to talk to them about their musical background, they get to play you stuff, and you get to build that relationship. The con to the meet in person one
this is a big one.
is if they're not good.
Okay.
And you've spent an hour connecting with them and they don't make it. Or they're like terrible.
Yes.
Like,
it's pretty
awkward. Are you sure you've ever played drums before? That gets awkward.
Yeah.
And so there's a little bit of awkwardness with that one. So, it's one of those things.
So a few more things on the audition process itself. There are some things we do that sort of make it easier, both for us and for the person auditioning. Yeah. One of those things is, while yes, we do ask people to play or sing specific parts or songs, we also say to people, sing something for us, like sing your favorite, whatever you do best.
Your best song. Give us your best song.
Doesn't have to be a worship song. Could be most anything. Yeah. I guess if they pick like a Slayer song, we know maybe they're not the right
That's
fit.
never happened to me before.
Happened. That would be funny. Some
For my
guitar
next
player,
song,
like brings a 7-string in, is like down tuned.
runs out to the band, comes back.
But any other sort of pro tips that we do for the audition process that make things easier for people?
Yeah, you definitely let people pick their song that they're comfortable with. Here's the thing that I've discovered. If they're on the team, they're going to be having to play the songs you're having them play, right?
Yeah.
But there are some, like vocalists, for example, I may give them Oceans.
Yeah.
But we give it to them in E or D, and they sound terrible. But reality, like that person's really a alto, which is why we have them sing a second song. Yeah. Because maybe Oceans in D isn't their great song, but if they're gonna sing a song they've been singing for 7 years, you're gonna really hear what their voice is and what they're comfortable with, and that'll give you a chance to really know what they can achieve given the right time and the right resources. Plus, they can't use the excuse, oh, well, I don't know that song very well. Another tip is before the audition, just have the person come to one of your rehearsals. Yeah. Because that will give that. We do that. We make people come to our rehearsal before we do any auditioning because we want them to see the process. We want them to see the standard too. Because a lot of times people show up and they're like, wow, these guys really know the songs. And it kind of makes them think twice.
Before coming to rehearsal.
Exactly that. And so they know what they're getting into. Yeah. So that's a good tip to just have people observe one of your behind the scenes moments before they're auditioning.
So in conclusion, it's better to set up auditions, have a structure in place on the front end, than to be down the road somewhere and have somebody on your team who's not quite ready yet and have to have an awkward conversation down the road. Yeah. It's always better to set that up in the front end, but also it's important to set up the structure so that it's the same for every person who wants to audition, that you have a plan that you can fall back on.
So we talked about at the beginning, we could not think of a reason why to not have auditions. So if you have a reason, legitimate reason that why you shouldn't audition people, put it in the comment section because I want to know if there's a reason out there why you shouldn't have auditions.
And here's what I suspect people might say. Because everybody should have a place to serve in the church.
Which is true.
Is absolutely true, but not everybody is called to serve on the worship team.
That's right.
There are lots of places where people can serve. So,
and that's why we exist, to help people create excellent worship everywhere.
And help people find the best place to serve.
That's right.
But if you got a good reason, let us know in the comments. And finally, since we already said finally once.
Finally.
PSS. Is that how they say it in a letter?
PSS.
Okay. Fuller and I are going to demonstrate why you don't want to let just anyone on your team. Fuller, I tuned this guitar myself, and I'm going to play a D. You ready?
Yes, and I've been playing percussion for many years.
It's Wednesday and I'm a worship leader. It's Wednesday, I'm a worship leader. It's Wednesday and I'm a worship leader. I love the backward strum.
What did you think? Try to turn that down in the mix.